It's time now for Reporters Roundtable to put the headlines in perspective. Bud and Ross both still with us. Ross, let's start with you. Tens of thousands of people expected to march in downtown Dallas a little later this afternoon. We've seen raucous town hall meetings. This march is going on too. Is any of this making a difference? They're protesting President Trump's policies.
Well, I think so. I mean, ordinarily you watch protests and they kind of come and go. These have been sustained over a long period of time. Immigration is clearly top of the charts in concerns for Texans and for others. And I think this kind of thing keeps it on the map. Bud, what do you think?
They're defining it carefully. It's not a march against Trump. The slogan is family, unity, empowerment. But the question is how much momentum they can maintain. There's a little distraction from world politics in the last week. The question is how much momentum they can keep on the purpose of the march.
Ross, let's shift over to that horrific tragedy we saw in Uvalde County. 13 people died on that church bus from New Braunfels. Witnesses said the driver who hit them was texting and driving. Is this the case that's going to compel the state lawmakers to actually do something?
I think it might be. Texting and driving has been up in the Texas legislature for years. It got all the way to Rick Perry's desk when he was governor. He vetoed it. He said it was an infringement on individual rights. But I think this accident happening as it did in the middle of a legislative session at a time when this has become ripe might push it over the top. Will
that argument that we've heard from so many lawmakers, do you think, Bud, will that continue to hold despite this?
But like so many things, we haven't seen any clue from Governor Abbott about how he'll rule on this. It's passed the chambers before and been stopped at the governor's office. We'll have to see what Governor Abbott says.
Ross, two big promotions in Washington, D.C. Rick Perry's on the National Security Council now, and Congressman Mike Conaway represents the southwest part of DFW, too. He's taking over the House Intelligence investigation to the Russian interference in the election. Will any of this, will anything be different, do you think, with both of these Texans playing more prominent roles?
Well, Texas is unsinkable. It's kind of the long lesson here. The Democrats had, this kind of hegemony in Washington. It took a while for the Republicans to rise to it, but, they have done so. If you look through Congress, a bunch of Texans are in chairmanships. Texas is a big player here.
Conaway's real well respected. He has the western suburbs of Fort Worth. He's been in there 7 terms. He's fended off attacks from both the left and right and stayed in office. And everybody seems to respect him. Generally, people say it's an improvement to have him in charge of the investigation.
And Rick Perry also.
Rick Perry.
Well, he's still Energy Secretary, but still has a seat in the National Security Council.
And the Energy Secretary should be on the National Security Council. This was restoring the Energy Secretary to a role he should have played all along. Secretary Perry will do better there. He's got the military experience that so many in this administration don't have.
All right. Bud and Ross, thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. And thank you for watching as well. This reminder, tens of thousands of people expected to march in downtown Dallas. It happens between 2 and 4 this afternoon. Many protesting President Trump's policies, among other things.